This podcast is created as part of Podcast Lab by India Film Project in association with Anchor by Spotify. So, hey everyone, once again, I would like to invite you all in yet another session of data science professional discussions. In this episode, we have invited Aviral Mathur. He is currently working as a head of data scientist in HT Media, and we'll try to get an idea about his journey, that what kind of initial thoughts and knowledge that he have built upon, okay, and figure out his further way through and get where he is right now. And also we'll try to figure that how he'll be looking that data science will be playing roles in the upcoming 5 or 10 years, and how he thinks the kind of portfolio or profile he'll be handling at that moment. So without wasting any time, I would like to invite Aviral. Hey Aviral, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Akash. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for taking time to talk to me. Thanks a lot.
Right. So let's discuss about what things are going on right now during the COVID. We are working from home. So how things are going on right now with you?
Yeah. So for me, obviously it is all remote, right?
Okay. Right.
Based out of all around India, right? All across India, right? So everybody is working from their hometowns. Right, but I think it's. From a. My wife hates it that I'm not going to office and I'm always at home. But I know that from a work perspective, it's fine, right? Things are going on. I do miss the social interactions, right? That we used to have.
Right.
But now I think it is soon becoming a distant memory. So it has already been a long time, right? So this situation is since 2020 Jan or actually Feb.
Right. And almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's almost 2 years now. So I don't know if we will start forgetting that.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, so things, current scenario is something like this, that our personal and professional are getting mixed up very well. Okay, and it might be trouble a bit, but yeah, this is the what we are getting, or even I'll be working in the same scenario as well. So okay, so what we really want to do with this podcast session is that to make sense to the listeners who are in data science field, to give them an idea. Okay, apart from it, what are the different journeys that different data scientists have? Okay, most of people are not known about this field, okay, maybe 10 year or 12 year down the line, but they have make their way, okay, and figure out that this is going to be the part of some bigger problem that organization will face, and it need to be tackled down. So I must shift my career towards it. So let's talk about your initial graduation journey which you have. Okay, so at that moment what we have is that we are just our SSC and HSC passing out and figuring out ourselves on a career level after getting into some our graduation portion, and from the first year to the final year, our mindset and the capability to look towards professional is being evolved. So how things are with you? Okay, what kind of experience or figuring out thoughts you are getting? Okay, and to go ahead with your professional journey, right? Please.
Got it. So I think your question has two parts, right? One is people who are fresh into the field, right? Who are starting their journeys especially in their engineering or some other that they are taking up. How will they get into data science? And the second is more around people who are already in their professional journeys, right? 10 years experience or 5 years experience, right? And they want to get into data science. How can they get into, right? So I think, and then I can tell you about my journey as well. So I will answer this question. I think this is actually going to be very interesting for the user itself. I think when I give this advice to people, right? First thing that I always ask is, do they actually want to get into data science, right? There are many
absolutely right
in data, right? So for example, data engineering is going at a much faster pace than data science. In the job market
right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
at this
right,
point of
right,
time, for every one data scientist, I will probably recruit two data engineers, right? Because ultimately,
right,
data engineers are the ones who are bringing things to life, right? Or they're enabling things to get to life, and they are
right.
responsible for it. Not just that, DevOps is actually becoming a critical skill, especially in large enterprises, because even in small enterprises, DevOps is critical, but in large enterprises, it is like super critical, because they are the ones who actually get the models into the real life. They are able to scale it up, right? And all those
Right.
critical things that need to
The
be done.
cloud infrastructure.
So the setup of that entire infrastructure is being done by the DevOps guys, right? And the data engineers
Right,
are responsible not just for the plumbing, right? I mean, that is obviously core of data science, data engineering, but data engineering also is responsible for getting the models to scale, right? In terms of they're very experienced in Spark, so some of the code base that data scientists are more comfortable with is Python. So getting into Spark also has become a critical skill within data engineering, right? So how do you do a
right,
algorithm scale is actually responsibility of the data engineer or ML machine learning engineer, right? So
right,
these roles are also very important, right? And I think that is probably more critical at this point of time in organization, even beyond data science, right?
right,
However, when you are thinking about data science as a career path, right, the question that a person should ask is, it's not just about having the general aptitude, right? If you have aptitude, you can do a lot of things, right? But data
right,
science requires a certain level of aptitude and attitude, right? So obviously you have to be good in mathematics. You should be good with numbers, right? And able
right,
to figure out insights very quickly. That is a given, right? So if you love that kind of a thing, then you're perfect fit for data science. The other thing is that the personality itself. Do you like to experiment? Are you constantly asking questions, right, to answer?
right.
Do you love to get into details of, let me figure out this, let me figure out that, where is the impact going to come? Lots of questions, right? And you keep debating and keep
Absolutely.
asking questions and keep getting into more of data, right?
Hmm.
So it's more about the personality, I would say, that one should be familiar with, right? And that answer could be gained by a person who is right in college, right? That what does he like to do? How has he structured his career? And if you're a professional as well, working professional, 5-6 years experience, do you like to do that, right? I mean, because that will
Right.
remain the same whether you are switching careers or you are trying to get into data science, right? So that part is going to
Absolutely.
remain similar. And that's why I said that data itself is a huge field, right? So there are various
Hmm.
aspects that are coming along, and people can play roles within that entire journey, right? Data science is just one
Right.
part. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, and I can tell
Right,
you
right,
more about
absolutely. Actually, yeah, you have explained a lot of proper way where data science is going. Like once we are into data science, right now the data is in such a huge number. Okay, we need other resources as well along with the data, and that you are talking about data engineers and DevOps, right? Which are being the you can say a cohort that will be enabling data science solutions to the businesses, right? So yeah,
yeah,
that's around the capability and the growth we are seeing. Okay, apart from it, last, if I can tell, from the last decades to this decades, not only the data science, but it's getting divided into multiple horizons like NLP engineer, computer vision engineer, and some machine learning engineer. So it's getting expanded with multiple horizons. So I think
yeah.
it make a lot of sense with the kind of capabilities that you have shared. Okay, now let's talk about your educational and your further steps that you want to discuss.
Yeah. So my journey within data science, a lot of people are just, I mean, it's accidental, right? I mean, for me as well, it was accidental, and I just realized that I loved it, right? And then you just,
Okay.
and what happened was, in so I did my so I was very clear in my class 12 itself that I wanted to do computer science engineering, right? So I was
All right.
lucky to get in VIT Vellore. I did my computer science engineering from there, right? So yeah, so I was lucky enough to get there. And within the course itself, there was a course on fuzzy logic, right? That I remember very clearly. And then there was a AI course, right? And so this was part of the curriculum itself, and I loved it. Somehow I just gained understanding, gained that this, I just liked it very much. And I was lucky. Then what happened was that I got an internship in IBM research, right? And this was in NLP.
Great.
So
Okay.
that's where the journey started, right? So at that time, I remember that I was building a emails classifier, right, using NLP and neural nets.
Okay.
Using neural nets. So that was my college. That was a final year project, right? Then it was just started, right? So from there, I actually, from IBM research, I went to Tata Research, again in their systems research lab, and worked on their NLP product that Tata was building at that time, right? So I was part of that.
Right.
So gained a lot of experience there, worked on whatever was cutting edge at that time on text mining, right? Worked there for a long time, for about 2 years there as well. Then I actually moved into the commercial side, right? So I actually started getting, I got into Mu Sigma, which was at that time a very, very small company, right? At that time, analytics itself was just starting.
A beginning, right? It's in beginning phase.
It was in the beginning phase. So I
Right.
was in the first 300 people. In fact, I was recruited directly by Ambika, who was one of the, who actually became the CEO of Mu Sigma as well. She interviewed me, right? So I was one of the early employees within analytics. Obviously, I liked it a lot, right? So after that, I just did an MBA, and I did so initially I had thought that MBA I should do in marketing and I should do finance, and I actually did a lot of stuff. I did an internship in Nestle as well,
Right.
where I was in the sales and marketing department. I did my MBA eventually in finance, right? And I got a CFA degree as well in MBA itself. But slowly and steadily, I actually realized again that I want to get back to analytics, right? I got into business consulting there as well, but then I wanted to get back into analytics. So I got into absolute data, worked there for a few years, again, just building models, advising various things, various people, building models, led large teams, right? Then after that, I was picked up by BCG, right? Boston Consulting Group. So in Boston Consulting Group, I started working in the Delhi office, right? So again, very good experience in BCG. BCG is a management consulting firm, very, very different mindset, right? To the pure pay analytics companies, right? So I was doing, I mean, in BCG as well, I was a consultant, but I was helping build the technology stacks or data science models and stacks there as well. But the whole thinking started changing, right? Because it became very, very commercial focused. So BCG as a company wants to help other companies make, or their clients actually make real money or make real, gain real value.
Right. Gain business, right?
Yeah, gain business or whatever from data science, right? Or data stacks. And that's where the thinking started changing, right? That how do enterprises actually build or bring impact, right? That's why the whole point is that to bring impact into data science itself, there are lots of roles, not just data engineering, DevOps, but there are other business analysts who are consultants, management consultants, change management. How does all these fields bring together impact in a modern enterprise using data science or AI, right? So I worked there for about 5 years, traveled a lot within BCG every week. It was just Monday to Fridays at the client location, then come back, then get up in the morning, Monday morning, go to client location, come back. So I was doing this for quite some time. But that was a great experience, right? I mean, learned a lot in BCG, right?
I think.
Right, sorry.
The 5 years that you have invested make a lot of sense, I think. Right.
Yeah. So that was a very good learning experience for me. right? After that, I did plunge into the startup world. My friend just convinced me that let's try the startup world, and I actually worked there for a year. But things sort of worked out. But then I wanted to move back to the corporate career, especially when COVID happened and stuff, right? The second wave.
Right.
Personal things. So I actually got back into the corporate world. That's where I was lucky enough to get into HT Media as the head of data science, right? And I have been there for quite some time now.
Great. I think it makes a lot of sense. Even you have tried yourself as a starting some company, and it's really hard. Actually, the company who are at a standing position are facing a lot of trouble during COVID. Okay, so I think journey make a lot of sense. I want to discuss some critical point that I have recently figured out. Okay, just going through the discussion. You are graduated in the computer science, and then you have gone for the masters, right? For the MBA. So, during this transition, what capabilities you think? Okay, like even somebody is in the bachelor's degree, so what kind of horizons and capability they can get, or the insight they can get if they are going for an MBA? Okay, and does this support their further career, same into data science, or if they want to figure out something else? So, what kind of nuances you think that you have gained through this, masters that you have gone with?
Okay. So engineering teaches you logic, right? I mean, ultimately,
right.
So especially in computer science, there were so many projects that I remember, right? I mean, actually, now that I think about it, one of my projects was so good at that time that I should have probably started a company at that time on that project itself, right? I mean, we were working on something called SNMP, and it was very, very new at that time, right? Now we are talking about 2000.
Right.
2000 actually, actually 4 when I was in second year or third year at that time. So engineering just teaches you logic, right? And you start thinking in a very structured way, right? Or you start thinking in a way, right, to solve problems. Given a problem, you break it down into small pieces, and you attack it, and then you actually solve it, right?
Right.
Management MBA actually teaches you a lot about business and communication, right? So I remember from my MBA days, there were lots and lots of cases, right? So it was a case study method, and we had to every night actually you do a lot of case studies. And I remember there was something called WAC in our MBA. You have basically given an assignment at 10 p.m. and you have to submit it by, I think, 7 a.m., something like that. And it's a day, I mean, it's a very long assignment and all that, right?
Right.
So MBA actually prepares you for a lot of things, right? My first semester or second semester in my MBA was just crazy. I mean, I didn't sleep at all. I thought I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours most days, if I was lucky.
Right.
It was very, very hectic. But it prepares you, right? So it prepares you for life after that. You start thinking in a certain way, as I said, right? And you start getting into what is the business problem, how do you solve it? You understand a lot of courses. So again, so the whole point here is that it actually starts changing your personality. How do you think about problems? So that's what MBA teaches you, right? And it's a choice, right? People can go for it, not go for it, but for me, it helped me think a lot more, right? And learn a lot of things as well. And obviously, the placement helps, right? You basically, people look at it only as that you're 2 to 3 times X, you will get your salary, right? Whatever you're earning. And that happened in my case as well. But again, it was a good learning experience, right? I actually learned.
Absolutely.
It was good for me.
Great. Why I have asked, because even I feel, okay, that, and it makes a lot of sense when I'll be talking with you, that while doing engineering, we can figure out that this is the problem and we can build a solution around it. But to make that solution reach to the public, or even reach to a certain level where it represents a business, I think for that section to cater, MBA will help, right? And these kind of insights, like the capability that really needed, will be catered by having a post graduation degree in the MBA. I think this I can relate and I can figure it out, because I be facing some of the problem around it. Okay, and I think it make a lot of sense for me to have such kind of capability. Okay, and hope listeners can also understand that how they wanna get into their journey, and whether their a graduation journey where they are right now making a sense to them and it's good for them, or whether they want to shift to the MBA and figure out something else. So I think we have cleared a bit more ideas around that also, and it's I think one of the different podcasts from the last which we have done. So it make a lot of sense. Okay, so this is the whole and overall journey that we have discussed about you. Okay, and it make a very generic and capable sense to get to know. Now let's talk about how is your current thoughts, and what kind of roles and capabilities you think, and the problems you think might arise in future in the field of data science, and how we as a data science professional or somebody who's listening to it, okay, prepare themselves around it.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. In the sense, I'll structure it. So first of all, I think my role in HT is as head of data science. So at this point of time, I'm leading a program, right? And I'm still early in my journey, so there are multiple programs that we are in discussion, we're structuring it. At this point, for example, I lead the personalization journey, right? So HT has about 16 crore people, 160 million people who visit the site every month, right? That basically means that we are trying to personalize stories, personalize recommendations for these individuals, right?
Right.
Across the different sites, the digital news platform, we are trying to bring in recommendations personalized to that person. With respect to content as well, what is similar to the content, we try to show more content around that, right? So there are a lot of widgets that are already active. Now I'm still early in the journey, so I spent about 6-7 months, and within that, the personalization stack is up. It is running and powering about 40 to 50 million recommendations a day, right? So in terms of scale, and that's the HT scale, right? HT brings a lot of scale inherently.
Absolutely,
because
right.
actually come to our sites every day, right? So we are helping power that, and that's what I basically do, right? I mean, so my responsibility is how do you actually get the personalization impact up all the time, right? So our algorithm become much better in terms of performance, and as the coverage itself increases, right? So you start doing photo recommendations, you do video recommendations, you do multiple kinds of recommendations personalized to a user or content, right? More opportunities, you create more value that AI is able to bring to the table, right?
Right.
So that's what my role at this point of time enables. Now the thing is that so there's a BCG study, and I always quote that only 10% of organizations globally are able to make any kind of or AI is able to make a significant impact, right? Or we can
absolutely.
So only a few organizations actually make impact through AI, right? And to enable that impact is actually quite critical, right? So as a leader for a data science program, it is imperative for us to actually think that how will that impact come, right? And how do we enable the enterprises we support, the organizations that we support, to actually generate that incremental value, right? So at my level, or as the head of whatever data science or data stack owner, data platform owner, that's what our responsibility is, right? That what we are being measured in terms of how much value we are able to create, right?
Absolutely.
For our organization in terms of actual revenue or actual bottom line impact or revenue impact. So that's what I do, right? I mean, so I work with a team of data scientists, engineers, DevOps, product managers, analytics professionals who help us measure business impact. So lots of roles, right? So all these roles come together within a program to actually support and implement that program, which actually generates value for the company, right? So I actually lead that program and help generate that value, right? So at my level, that's what the expectation is, right? How do you get there? I was lucky enough to have various experiences which have enabled me to actually step into this role and help enterprises that I support.
Sure, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? And this current role, where you are right now, it's explaining how wide this, capabilities are divided, and even what are the wider sense of audience, okay, which this insight is being, or this program is being trying to address, right? So it make a lot of sense. Okay, so these are the things what we are seeing right now. I'm recently I have seen some of the things, but I haven't seen right now in India that MIT is looking right now to think that quantum computing is something, okay, that might be the future 5 year or 10 year down the line. Okay, in what way, I'm still figuring it out. I'm just trying to see how things are and what kind of capable professionals and the courses that make a lot of sense. So how you think, as a professional or being the head of the data science, that 5 or 10 year down the line things will look, because there are metaverse that is coming down the line, okay, which going to be impacted. There is a 5G which are going to be launched soon, okay. So the user experience gonna be changing with these kind of capabilities, right? So how you think these things, 5 or 10 year down the line things will look like? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so first of all, the world is changing dramatically in AI itself, right? When you think about it, so I think about, so AI is the great enabler, right? It sits in the center, or and it supports or amplifies the impact of anything else, right? So if you are in the metaverse, how to make it intelligent is going to be something that AI will help enable, right? People are using crypto as well. How do you actually use ML to get the maximum impact itself of our prices? In fact, it's a VIT graduate, one of my batchmates, who actually enable an enterprise within this space, right? How do you combine ML with crypto to maximize your returns, right? And they are already $1 billion, I think, a multi-billion dollar US based, right? So AI is the great enabler, right? And if I think about the last 5 years have been dramatic, right? Now I am a guy with 15 years of experience. So I have seen this and I've been all throughout in this industry. So I've seen how it has evolved, right? Right from my college days when I was working in this. So I have been dramatically, the world has dramatically changed, right? So for example,
we can see, please go ahead.
What is happening is that so world is dramatically changing. That's a very generic statement, right? But so if you think about it, AI is not new, right? I mean, AI was there in the 1940s as well, right? If you've seen the Imitation Game, you would know that it's not new, right? In fact, neural net itself isn't a new concept, right? It was, I think, implemented long back. Now, what happened was that within this space as well, something happened, which is the deep learning, right? Which dramatically changed. So I had built a neural net in my college itself, as I mentioned, right? The email classifier. The capabilities of neural nets about 5 years back, once deep learning came into it, it was just a revelation to me, right? I mean, I just couldn't believe it, because I had actually worked with neural nets quite a bit, right? But once the TensorFlow and all these things started coming into place, I was just shocked to see the results, right? I mean, it's just so good, right? I couldn't believe it
Right.
at that point of time. And what is happening is that the results are continuously improving, right? So I see in my job as well, what I see is that every day new things keep coming up, right? And I have to keep
Right.
evaluating. Sorry, does this make sense for us to actually incorporate in our model and scale it up, right? So we have to
Right.
constantly see that in our journey itself, right? So I'm building this personalization engine. Does this model make sense? Does this model make sense? And every week I'm seeing, every few months I'm seeing lots and lots of progress, right? So it for us as leaders, the 5 to 10 years outlook is actually quite exciting, right? And AI will change in dramatic ways, right? When Elon Musk says that probably they are going to become super smart, and I actually see that every day, and it is just and AI just surprises me how it is able to find those relationships, have those the things that it is able to generate is just sometimes it just seems unreal, right? So we are seeing the people who are involved in AI, who are involved in cutting edge technologies, they are seeing these things almost every day, right? And this is all open source, right? I mean, anybody has access to it. Earlier it was under closed door. Now it is just open. Anybody can download and start just working on it. So it's actually quite exciting how the world is changing and how it works. I don't want to make any prediction. I don't know how, and I'm not that great guy that I will make a prediction.
Let's look into it, you mean to say.
But yeah, I'm just excited with the way things are progressing, and it is real. It is actually quite real. It is not just some guy talking about something fake. It is actually real, and people who are in the field and seeing these advances every day from close quarter, they are realizing the power behind these new things that are coming up constantly in the field of AI, right? So it's exciting times ahead, and my advice to professionals in this field, who are in this field, and I give that advice to my people as well, who are reporting to me as well and who are working very closely with me, that please be in the trenches. Even as a leader, I can't sit out, right, or talk high level, right? I mean, I have to be in the trenches, see what is going on, and then see what kind of impact we can drive at a business level from these new advances that are constantly coming up.
Right. All we can say that whatever the position we are, as per the whatever discussions that we have, that keep ourselves as well, okay, updated with what is coming outside, okay, or how things are evolving, and be ready with that change, to attach with that change and make a progress with it. I think it makes a lot of sense. This is what we really discuss and invite our guests, okay, to give our listeners a sense of understanding that how we as a data science professionals are into, okay, and what kind of things and dealings that we are right now doing, and how our journey is not stabilized right now, because it's keep evolving. We have to also update ourselves as well. And if somebody is looking into getting with the data science, or even want to transition to data science, be ready with such kind of we have that kind of thought that this might be the capability with which you have to be prepared. So thanks, Aviral. Okay, thanks for bringing all these insights. So we'll just trying to wrap up this session. Anything that you want to say to the listeners, okay, at the end you can.
Yeah, I mean, whoever is listening, right? Thanks for listening to the talk, and I'm available. I have a LinkedIn profile by the same name. You can search me up. Happy to respond to queries. Happy to respond to questions. And
absolutely,
my advice to people is that just get into the field. AI is booming. It has I always tell my parents that it has fed me for the last 15 years. That
Right.
probably for the next 10 years I don't have to worry about, given the advances in AI that are happening. So it is a direct time to just be in AI data science, and just go with the trend, right? It's actually a great time to be associated with this. So yeah, my best of wishes to everyone who is trying to get into the field. Just keep working hard. Just keep reviewing the latest and the greatest. Keep working and keep experimenting. Um, and if you love it, then you will just fall. I mean, if you like it, then you just fall in love with it, as I have. Yeah, and just continue the journey within this field itself. Yeah, that's
Sure.
it.
Great, great. Thanks, Aviral. Thanks for joining, and yep, have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Thank you, Akash.
Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon.